What's going on, Phantombass and Cosmogs fans alike? This is Phantombass coming at you with our APA Season 3 Week 4 team prep video for the South Florida Bulus, coached by LynxForte. His link will be in the description below. And before I forget, because I'm a total ding-dong and forgot to do this pre-video because I'm totally professional, let's grab his dang team and slide it in the thing. Okay, so that was completely unprofessional of me. Alright, okay, we're good. Now, let me actually slide it over a little bit so it won't be in the way of everything. Anyway, back to being somewhat professional now. Lynx's team is incredibly threatening. You will see it pop up right about now. He's got Victini as a Z Crystal user, and he's got Tornadus Incarnate as a Z Crystal user, both very good Z Crystal users. This team is incredibly threatening against mine overall. In case you guys don't know my squad, I really need to start putting mine up here, but just until I can get around to doing that, it's going to be Z Thunderous Incarnate, Tapu Fini, Mamoswine, Bronzong, Umbreon, Scolipede, Z Flygon, Mega Heracross, Go-Go, Aerodactyl, and Zangoose. Okay, now, really quickly, I'm going to go over this team because I really suck at this, but I actually have already had the battle, so I'm trying to go over the thought process I had here. Okay, let's assess the threats to our team first. Victini is horrifying. Mega Venusaur, horrifying. Milotic, impossible to break, just about. Scizor is scary. Floridian is hard to break. Zoroark is actually incredibly threatening against my team. So is Tornadus Incarnate. Druddigon, not an issue. Quagsire, not an issue. Raichu could become an issue. Maybe. Kecleon, It depends on the set. Anyway, so I can safely say without a doubt, this team is quite interesting, to say the least. He's got a decent defensive backbone in Mega Venusaur, Milotic, and Florges. However, they all have something in common that I really want to capitalize on, and you will see in a second. That's something that we can notice. Also, his offensive core, aside from like Raichu and the occasional Zoroark and Tornadus, is physical. Incredibly physical. Like, even Venusaur could be physical. Scizor, incredibly physical. Victini, 99 times out of 100, physical. Zoroark can be really physical if you wanted to. It's really good physical. SD set's horrifying. Bulk up Tornadus. Raichu, and Kecleon is trash. It's good as a spin blocker if you're gonna go like, if you're gonna set up rocks with it and go for Shadow Sneak. But other than that, it's kind of meh in that department. So, like I said, here's the team I expect him to bring against me, against my team. I'm expecting a Scarf Victini to outspeed my fastest Pokemon, being a potentially Scarfed Mamoswine. I'm also expecting a physically defensive Mega Venusaur, a Flame Orb, specially defensive Milotic, a Banded Scizor with Aerial Ace. I'm expecting Cleric Florges, and I'm expecting one of the other two of these last two. I'm expecting a Z Tornadus Incarnate with Tailwind, Taunt, Supersonic Sky Strike with Hurricane, and a coverage move here with like Sludge Wave, I'm pretty sure. Okay, and then we're gonna it's either that or it's going to be Zoroark. Spec Zoroark is a horrifying concept, and even Life Orb Zoroark is not fun for my team. The scariest thing on I think that is the biggest threat to my team, honestly, is Zoroark. One, because I don't know what the heck he's gonna be disguised as. We can't really predict that. So we're gonna have to play around a little bit if we see it. I have done mocks against this team. Zoroark is hard to handle overall because it can't be Thunder Waved by like Thundurus. It can't, because of the Prankster. I could run Defiant, but then I run the risk of running, like, having to. He doesn't have any, like, his best thing that is like his best thing. That's just a really good Pokemon against me. So, sorry, I'm gonna get in call with JacubAsAlways here in just a second to talk about the match. Anywho, so, we can, safely say that his team is incredibly threatening for us, but luckily, we have decided to come up with something kind of heat this week, and I'm very, very proud of it. Now, first off, right away, when I looked at his team, the first thing I thought was Victini is a huge problem. I need to switch into it. a guaranteed switch into it every stinking time. So my guaranteed 100% way to handle Victini. I thought of this for a long time, and for a second I was going to go as a walk on top of Fini, but I decided to go with a physically defensive Flygon. That's right, because this particular set I knew right off the bat. I had no qualms about it. I wanted this particular set, and honestly speaking, because I had no other reason to bring anything else. Okay, what do I call this thing? That's right, I call this thing Goggles, because it's my goggles. Okay, so anyway, this spread is very like simple, because I don't need much else on it. Like, this is all I need on this particular set, because this particular set takes max 50% from a Bandit Victini's V-Create. Everything else does under 35%, literally. Like, there's nothing he can do. Zen Headbutt is max. Actually, I think Zen Headbutt is max like 38. Flygon is stupid ridiculous in this regard. Like, it's got really good HP stats. It's got pretty decent bulk. It's respectable bulk. And clearly, as you'll see in the match, like, just to give you an idea of these calcs, I only needed max HP to live a Choice Specs Glaciate from Victini. Pretty sure. Timid Specs, not modest. But, because Glaciate, actually, I think I ran checked it with Scarf, but, like, the roll is 81 to 96%. That's how crazy bulky this thing is. And, like, I can kill it with Earthquake. I can kill it with 2 Earthquakes. Guaranteed. After rocks, it's dead from Earthquake. No pushback. I don't need any attack investment. That 4 does it for me. So, clearly, this Flygon set is going to be really good. It also allows me to switch into the likes of Scizor very easily. I can switch into... what else can I switch into on his team? I can switch into... I can't say I switch into Druddigon pretty well. I can switch into Mega Venusaur relatively well. Like, if he goes for Leech, I can just click U-turn. I can switch into Kecleon very well. This thing is very good, and I still outspeed a lot of his bulky threats. Like, that's just it. Like, this thing is a really good wall for the things I needed to come in on. It won't be in the match very much, but when it is, it's because it's doing the job that I gave it to it. Now, to couple with this, I decided that I wanted an offensive mon to give this thing some more pressure. Because he has no Ice type on his team, and obviously no Ice Stab, I decided to go with Thundurus because this is the concept I'm going with here. I'm bringing Expert Belt Thundurus, Prankster obviously with Thunderbolt. Oh lord, not Thunder. Thunderbolt, U-turn, Thunder Wave, and Psychic. And that's because after Rocks, Mega Venusaur drops to Psychic from the Expert Belt. You are Kaiba. You have to be Kaiba. Anyway, and we're running this particular exact spread, because if we don't, we will pay the consequences pretty dearly, because I want to outspeed his Raichu, because Raichu is his fastest thing on his roster. So I can guaranteed outspeed Raichu, I can outspeed Zoroark, unless they're Scarfed. That's how I'm going to scout what's Scarfed, because I will be max speed to outspeed them under normal circumstances. I can 2-hit kill Raichu after Rocks with Psychic. I can 2-hit kill Zoroark with Thunderbolt after Psychic. I can U-turn on Zoroark if I predict it to be the Zoroark. Psychic OHKO's Mega Venusaur after Rocks. Thunderbolt 2-hit kills Milotic regardless of its spread. This thing is just really offensive powerhouse. It can do so much damage. Like, Psychic is there because I don't have to predict him to go into Raichu. I can just click Psychic pretty safely. If he brings Raichu, like, that's the reason I brought it. And U-turn also because of that. Thunderbolt also just blows back Tornadoes. Psychic is a decent chunk to Druddigon. Psychic does nothing to Floridian, but Thunderbolt does a decent chunk. It does like 33 to 38%, which is a nice chunk, and I can U-turn the following turn and get into something that can handle it. I don't have any coverage for Quagsire, but I can U-turn on the thing, and I've got coverage on something else that can that'll handle it pretty well. Now, our next Pokemon, I was like, okay, I need a second check to Scizor, because Goggles is going to get worn down if he brings a Bandit Scizor, because the thing is, he can bring Bandit Superpower and guaranteed to kill me. If he goes for Bandit Superpower, switches out, comes back in and I don't roost, like, I can kill him. He'll kill me with a Bandit Superpower. So, I had to have a second check to that, and I wanted to go with Tapu Fini because Tapu Fini does some other things for me as well this match. We're bringing a leftover set, we're bringing this particular spread because I knew, once again, I knew most of these sets right off the bat. I was bringing Taunt, Nature's Madness, Surf, and Hidden Power Fire because this thing is a guaranteed switch into Mega Scizor every time. Or not Mega Scizor, just regular Scizor. We're bringing this exact spread. Now I'll explain to you why here in a second. Because we're bringing 92 or 192 in speed, 64 in special attack, but we're bringing a bold nature. Now why is that? Because we avoid a 2-hit kill from Bandit Bullet Punch this way after leftovers. We can also avoid, like, it's really good for us to have this particular defense investment because it also allows us to chew, I believe, 2 Bandit V creates from Victini that way. We can kill 2 Surfs, if he's, or I think a Surf after the Spadef drop. Nature's Madness is there because I didn't want to bring, I wanted to bring Moonblast, but I couldn't safely do that against threats like Victini, first off. Second off, against Scizor. Scizor was going to be a problem. I didn't want to have to predict a switch, and Moonblast does nothing to Florges and nothing to... And the other thing is I didn't want to give Milotic a competitive boost if he was a competitive Pokemon, a competitive set. So I brought Nature's Madness because it'll do more to both Florges and to Milotic, and it'll catch Mega Venusaur and switch into. So that's really good. Taunt is there because we outspeed, no speed invested Mega Venusaur, we outspeed Milotic, and we outspeed a up to max speed modest Florges. Surprisingly, with this set, we can taunt it, prevent it from wishing. We can taunt Mega Venusaur, prevent Leech Seed, prevent. We won't go for status moves because he can't against us. We can prevent Milotic from going for Recover, or for Toxic, or for Haze, or what have you. This thing is just, granted, I don't need to do that. Hey. You okay? Oh, okay. So I'm recording here real fast. I'm almost done. Okay. Are you going to be okay if I'm talking, or do I need to stop? Let me know, okay? I'll stop if you need me to. But, everyone say hello to Megan. The audience waves. Probably. So yeah. That's what taunts there for. Hidden Power Fire. With this special attack investment, 1-hit shots Scizor from full. Actually, I think, no, 1 shots after rocks. Pretty sure that's why I have this. So yeah, that's why we're bringing this Tapu Fini. It does well for us. Helps us to handle the threats that I wanted to handle. Also, just helps me blow back Druddigon and prevent it. And if he brings, like, the thing I'm scared of is a Sheer Force Life Orb Druddigon with a Gunk Shot. Like, that can be a problem. Sludge Bomb, Specs, Zoroark 2-hit kills me, but I've got Switch In coming for that. Like, we can scout around with this set pretty well. We can scout damage and switch accordingly. Like, we don't have to predict a whole lot with this team, which is really good. Now, the next Pokemon, for the longest time, was going to bring a Bandit Mamoswine. I was like, he has no switch into Bandit Mamoswine. Mega Venusaur gets 2-hit killed. Milotic gets 2-hit killed if he's not a Flame Orb. And even then, it's a roll. Everything is just 2-hit killed, and I can revenge things like Tornadus, I can revenge Zoroark, I can revenge a lot of things. But the problem came is that I needed a switch into Zoroark. This thing cannot switch into Zoroark. It can't kill him 1 shot from full either with Bandit Ice Shard, but it can after some prior damage. The problem being Zoroark 2-hit kill just 1 shots as a low kick or Grass Knot. So it can comfortably live the Ice Shard and just kill us with Grass Knot. Or it can predict our switch and go for Focus Blast and blow us away in 1 shot. With that, we can't allow that to happen. I needed a better switch. I needed a better way to handle Zoroark besides just Mamoswine. So we decided to kind of skip that set for now and go for our next Pokemon. And I decided that I would go with Mega Heracross because Mega Heracross is a monster. Kirito is our Mega Heracross. My wife giggles slightly over on the side. I don't know if you heard me, it was funny. Never mind. So that was just highly coincidental then, because I planned to say that. That was really funny. I planned to say that, and you giggled without knowing what I said. That's really funny. Anywho, so back to Kirito the Mega Heracross. With this particular spread, I'm bringing Max Attack Adamant, and you will understand why here in just a second, because I cannot afford to bring anything else. With this with this attack investment, with this speed investment, we can, for one thing, we outspeed max speed Adamant Scizor. Okay, that's really good for us. We also can outspeed a lot of his slower threats, things like Druddigon. And with this particular moveset, now for a bit, here's what I'm going to explain. Because for a while we had Pin Missile, we had Rock Blast, we had Retaliate, and we had Substitute. Now, okay, this, for one thing, could very easily become a win condition watching the game. Like, just this thing 2-hit kills absolutely everything on the team except for Flame Orb Milotic, and I felt like I had enough resources to handle it. But you'll see we actually do end up changing a move on this spread here in a second, and you'll see how we do that later. But this attack investment allows us to two-shot physically defensive Mega Venusaur with Pin Missile. This allows us to two-shot everything, or one-shot everything with this coverage. Retaliate was for the next Pokemon I was bringing, which happened to be our Bronzong, and you'll see why, because we're bringing ADTR, the Bronzong, with, this is going to be our original set. Okay, I'm going to change it. I'm going to change everything like I'm building the team. So for a while we had safety goggles on this thing, with heat proof, fun fact, with Heavy Slam, Explosion, Trick Room, and Heal Block. We were running this particular EV spread. This didn't change, by the way, this EV spread. We were bringing 244 in HP, we were bringing 180 in attack, and 84 defense, with I believe, a quiet nature, or a relaxed nature, with clearly 0 speed IVs, because that way we could potentially start spamming Heavy Slam if the time came. Anyway, so, looking at the spread, this thing was meant to, one, capitalize on the Thunders and the fact that we could set up a Trick Room on it going for Tailwind, turn around and explode and potentially kill it. We also, with this investment, we live a V-Create from Victini after 2 switch-ins on rocks, and a Bandit V-Create, mind you, and we can Trick Room on it and then turn around and explode and kill it. That's the entire point of this Bronzong. We can turn around and go into something slow on my team and proceed to do damage. Now, the problem with these two sets is that my last mod that I decided to add instead of Mamoswine really helps to make this team a lot better and allows us to make the changes I wanted to. So, like I said, I needed to switch into Zoroark. As you can see, this team is clearly 2KO'd by Zoroark, guaranteed. I can't switch into Spec Zoroark, and I did not want to have to deal with Spec Zoroark because that thing is a problem. So I decided, you know what, let's bring him on. That's been a failsafe for us. We've got to have something that can provide wish support for Mega Heracross behind a sub, for our non-leftovers Bronzong, and also potentially for like a failsafe with Flygon if we can't get up a roost, and we can get a wish into it, or for Thundurus as well if he switches into rocks a couple times. So of course our only Wishmon is Umbreon. We did bring Fat back again this week, and Fat is rocking the leftovers, of course. We're running Foul Play, we're running Heal Bell, Wish, and Baton Pass this week. And we are running a very standard spread, but we have to because it helps us nearly avoid a 2-hit KO unless he gets like a max roll twice in a row. Not Impish, we're running freaking Careful Nature. Careful Nature on this because we avoided 2-hit KO from Focus Blast on Specs Zoroark unless he's modest. Even then it's still a roll after leftovers. So we can do monsters, we can deal well with that thing, we can wish on it, we can Baton Pass out if we predict any switches. It's a good time with this thing, so we can turn around and say, okay, because we have this thing providing this kind of support, I don't need to prevent him from healing so much. So we can actually take off Heal Block on this thing and go for Stealth Rock. As much as I love Heal Block, because it could potentially stop and recover my Loadic, Leech Seed on Mega Venusaur, we could have prevented Synthesis and Wish on Floridian. We could have recover Quagsire, which I'm glad he, like, I don't know. That's just the thing. And that also allows us to change, because I calced incorrectly at first when I was doing the calcs for this spread, and I didn't think Bullet Seed 2 had killed Flame Orb Milotic. However, it was calculating 3 hits, not 5. And with Skill Link, we're guaranteed to kill with Bullet Seed, or 2 hit kill with Bullet Seed. So we do like 59 to 70% with Bullet Seed to a Flame Orb physically defensive Marvel Skill Milotic. Let that sink in on how powerful this thing is. So, yeah, that is the concept behind this team. Essentially, the entire point of this team is to have a switch in for his major threats being Thunderous. Oh, and we changed the item on this thing to Colberberry. Block quotes 4 or more. You're using Turabian? It's kind of awesome. That's awesome. The throwback, though. My wife is being amazing and going back to school, so y'all root for her. Show some likes on this video. Anyway, so she's the real hero here, the unsung heroes of the Keaton household. Also Sophie for being Sophie, because she's adorable. Anyway, so we changed Bronzong to Colberberry because we wanted to make absolutely sure that we could take 2 hits from Thunder or Tornadus if he's going for knockoff. Also, we could take a hit from Zoroark, and if he didn't go for Taunt, we could Trick Room and then proceed to Explode, because Colbert boosted knockoff into Sucker Punch does not actually kill us, and we can explode on it and kill it, which is a lot of fun. So, and we put rocks on it because we wanted to make absolutely sure we got rocks up on this thing. We do have Defog on our team. That's because his only has removal is Defog as well. Like, we could have put something like Flamethrower on this thing for Scizor, but I felt in the end it wasn't worth it because Earthquake still does 40 to 47% to an offensive Scizor, and that's what I expect him to bring as offensive. So even defensive Scizor takes like max like 32% from Earthquake, which is really good for this thing, having no attack investment. So with this, that is the concept behind the team, is we want to slow down his faster threats. Kill the main Pokemon we want to kill off are Tornadus, Zoroark, and Victini. Everything else can be handled by Heracross, because if we can Thunder Wave his main threats, like Victini or Tornadus, we can't do Raichu, honestly, but Raichu isn't a huge issue because we have a combination of Umbreon, we've got Bronzong, we've got Flygon even. I expect him to bring Hidden Power Ice, but that just tells me he's not going to bring, I don't think he's going to be bringing Focus Blast for Umbreon. And with that in regard, we can very well handle it with Umbreon. We can Wish on it all day long. He would have to go for Volt Switch against us, or he would have to knock us off or something, but even so, we can Wish against it. Or if we can predict him to go for a Switch, we just click Phantombass and get free initiative into whatever we want. It's really good time. So, that's it. The concept behind this team is initiative. Get into Heracross for free, get into Thunders for free, get up our rocks, and proceed to just, and if I can get Heracross behind a sub and keep it behind a sub, it gets at least 2 kills, which is really good news. So, that is the entire team. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope to see you guys tomorrow for the battle. Thank you guys so much. Catch you guys later.